Did you know that 80% of B2B leads come through LinkedIn? In this video, I will show you how you can target the right companies and the key decision makers within them, so your advertising reaches those who actually matters to your business. Before we get started, my name is Vegard. I've been on the marketing agency side since 2017. Back in 2021, I started my own marketing agency with 2 other people. I won awards in Norway, Europe, and globally. And throughout this time, I work with several clients discussing and solving issues like this. In this video, we will cover 3 things. The first thing we'll cover is how to select and find the right customers to reach on LinkedIn. Second, after deciding which customers you want to target, how do you figure out which people inside those companies you want to target? And lastly, after running your first advertising campaign using companies and key decision makers as targeting, what kind of data do you get from LinkedIn? What is really cool is that you will get both organic and paid data from LinkedIn. So when you think about which companies you want to target on LinkedIn, you have to have some way to filter out companies, because not every company will be the best fit for your product or services. One way to do this is based on the technology they show on their website. A tool you can use like that would be a tool like BuiltWith. With BuiltWith, you can target every website that has a CMS of, for example, Magento or Shopify. And then they will create a list of all the Shopify stores for you. Another way to do this is by using business metrics, because usually each country has some kind of third-party provider that is able to create a list based on those business metrics. And the usual way to do this is using business metrics like revenue, number of employees, industry, or profit line. So if I was going to use my own marketing agency, for example, to illustrate how I would do this, we target companies that do 10 million euros or more yearly, but we can go as low as 3 million euros. The reason for this number is that when we work with the client, they need to have an advertising budget for us to do the best work. And if they're below 3 million euros, they usually have too little advertising budget for us to work with them. When it comes to the number of employees, it doesn't really matter for us. When it comes to targeting industries, we target retailers that have physical location and e-commerce stores. And in addition to this, we target companies that get a lot of customers through the phone or through contact form. The reason for that is that we have a playbook to scale those businesses up pretty fast. When it comes to profit, we don't use that as a measurement when we are targeting companies on LinkedIn, but we do it before we starting a deal with a company. Now I'm inside Purehelp.no, which is a third-party tool you can use to filter or create a list of the companies you want to target. You chose one is, for example, the type of company, the industry codes, the gross revenue, the profit year, how much cash do they have, etc., etc. So if I was going to target the companies we would use, so 3 million euros and above, so that is 30 million Norwegian kroners, I would enter 30 million Norwegian kroners here. And you can see down here that there is 27,000 companies that fit this criteria. But then I will have to make sure that I have the financial year of 2023. So when I'm using 2023, you can see that we have 15,813 companies that we can use from this list. If we, example, would target industry, so in this case, I will target companies that have online stores, and this is the Norwegian word for that. You can see that the company list goes down to 70 result, which is too low. That means that we should probably increase the number of companies we want to target. I would usually have a few thousand companies when I'm doing this. So let's see. So in this case, I will just take everything that is under retail. This also includes the reparation of cars, etc. So when I do that, we have about 3,000 companies, which is good when you're in Norway. If you're in UK, Germany, the US, then you should probably target more companies. So when I click on this button, I will get the information to Excel. And I'm going to show you what kind of information you get from this tool. So here is the file. Again, it's in Norwegian, but here you have the organization number, company name. Here you have the address, the home page or the website. Here you have gross revenue. Here you have the email. As you can see, you get a lot of information from this third-party tool, and this list is every company that does 3 million euros or more in 2023 that is in the retail space. After selecting your account, you click on Plan, then you click on Audience, and then you click on Create Audience, and then you choose Matched Audience, and then you choose the source, which is company and contact, and you click on Next. So then you name the list. So in this case, I say 3 million euro and in the retail space. In the line type, in this case, this is, at least in Norway, GDPR friendly because you're not targeting specific people, you're targeting companies. And then you have the blue line here, which says download the company list template. And when you open the company template list, you get information from LinkedIn about fields they require from you. So as you can see here, they require the company name, they require the company website, company email domain, LinkedIn company page URL, industry, city, state, company, country code, zip code, etc. So you don't need to have all of these fields populated. I usually have the company name, and if I can, I have the company website. When it comes to company email domain, it depends if the third-party tool I'm using actually gives us this information. When you upload this list, you will get match rate. So if your match rate is low, I would add the LinkedIn company page URL. To increase your match rate, I would use LinkedIn company page URL, because sometimes the legal name of the company is not the same that they use out in public. And I think there are many cases of that, but if you use the LinkedIn company page URL and you can find their page, you will most likely have 100% match rate for that company. So as you can see, here are the things that we can use to target. So all you have to do is that we have to populate this list based on a third-party tool, like for example, purehelp.no. Then after doing that, we can go to this list and then we can create select list, upload it. So I'm going to rename it to test delete just for you to see. And then you click agree and upload. After doing that, the list will show up here. So here you can see that we already have a few different lists that you can use. So for example, we have something that's called all leads, and we have a match rate of 60%. And right now we are targeting we are using this in 2 different campaigns we are running. And you can see the number of audience that fits into this list. What you can do is that after uploading the list, which usually takes 24 to 48 hours is what you're saying, my experience is that it takes up to 72 hours before you get this data. You can click on the list, and then you can see the type of companies you have and what kind of information. We have to think about which people do we want to reach within those companies. And there's a few ways to think about that, but the easy way to think about that is that you have to target the key decision makers, the people with the budget. So that is usually the C-level. So it means CEO, it could be CFO, it could be the CTO, it could be the chief marketing officer, etc. So everyone that has a C-level. And then you have someone that influences that decision. So if you're going to sell an IT service, you probably would like to target everyone who has something to do with IT. And that could be based on keywords. So that means everything that that person has in their title, because it's not unusual that IT people don't have a title that reflects what they do, but based on their profile, you might bet and get a better match of that. And then you might have someone that is a gatekeeper. So for example, if you want to change the technology stack on a website and your e-commerce manager, the IT person might be the gatekeeper for that. Use the gatekeeper, decision makers, and influencer when you think about which people you want to target when you're creating your campaign. Now I'm going to show you how this looks like in LinkedIn when you're targeting the different people. So what you're going to do is that you are going to create your first advertising campaign. So I'm going to click create, I'm going to click campaign. I'm just going to call this ABM, which is account-based marketing, 3 million euro, and in the retail space. And then the start date, I'm going to click next. And then you have to choose the location. I'm going to choose Norway. And when you're going to choose which audience you're going to target, you're going to click on list upload, and then you're going to choose company list, and then you're going to choose one of the lists you have created. So in this case, I will use all leads, and then I'm going to choose to not have enable audience expansion. What audience expansion does is that it looks at the people you're targeting and trying to find similar companies. But for me, in this particular case, I would rather just target the right list and then add more companies to that list than have LinkedIn maybe try to find similar companies. We have not added any exclusion, but we are going to narrow the audience even further. And then you can take the job functions or job seniority. So you can take the titles, you can use the function. Often it's better to just search. So I would search for CEO, I would choose and search for marketing, etc., and use keywords or titles or whatever. The important part here is that when you are choosing to target the different companies, you will have to make sure that we are using the AND statement. And the reason for that is that we want to target the companies and the key decision makers within them. There is a possibility for you to choose OR. What that means is that then you're targeting those companies or everyone who has the title like CEO, which will be way too broad of a targeting. So after running your first advertising campaigns, you might wonder what kind of information do I get based on the targeting list I used. So to figure out that, you can go to Plan, Audience, and then you can click on the company list that you're using. And then you will get information on all the companies you're targeting. And here you can see the engagement level. You can see the organic impression, which is really cool. You can see the engagement, you can see the paid impression, the clicks, the leads if you have a CRM integration, etc., etc. You can see data up to the last 90 days, and you can use all these types of data to filter out. So I could, for example, see that for this company, we have 3,000 impressions and 10 clicks, which is not a lot. One important thing to mention is that you can also click on the company list and you get data from all the companies that has engaged with you in the last 90 days. So what we do as a company is that every 90 days we export this data to have a look at, are we actually reaching the companies we want to reach when we're doing this. To recap what we went over, in step number 1, I showed you how you can find and select the companies to target on LinkedIn using a tool like Purehelp. And then I showed you step by step how you do it. In step number 2, I talked about how you should figure out which people you should reach within those companies and how to do it in LinkedIn. And third and last point, I showed you what kind of data do you get from LinkedIn when you're running advertising campaigns, but also what type of data do you get without running the campaigns, but by reaching out to different companies. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.